Welcome back, dear ghoulish viewers, to another 31 Days for 31 Frights. Today is a zombie flip. Not the type of zombie that we saw from Sometimes They Come Back, but these are the real classic zombies. Today we are watching the 1990 version of Night of the Living Dead. This is the George Romero cut too, so you know it's full of his signature zombieisms. The movie starts out with the long drive scene with two people. We hear them talk about their mother, who is presumably dead. This leads us to the cemetery, where we see our first zombie. The two characters we meet consist of a brother and his sister, but mainly the sister's the one we really want to remember, because we watch the zombie fall on the brother, break his neck, and kill him instantly. The sister's name is Barbara. I just wanted to clarify that, so when I drop her name several times, you're like, who's that? But you'll know who she is because I said their name. So Barbara runs out into the woods until she finds a house. This house is full of surprises for us later too, but first she meets two zombies and a guy who blew his brains out. That gun will also be very important because she meets a guy named Ben. Ben's pretty cool because he helps her clear out the house of the dead, and he also helps her walk through any panic attack that she has in the movie. And like I said about the gun, he grabs it and he uses it as a little defense because he meets two people come out of the cellar from the house. These two guys are the nephew of the homeowner, who we also saw previously dead, and the father of an infected daughter. His name's Harry, and Harry sucks a lot. Fast forward like 30-ish minutes, and tensions have risen to such a breaking point between the people that Ben decides to fight with Harry because he keeps being useless and he keeps trying to fight against boarding up the house. And what I mean by this is everything he does, he claims is for his family's safety, but really it's him using that as like a little defense mechanism of him being afraid of like the outside, which is normal because, you know, there's zombies and everything. But like he's impeding on everything and anything they have a chance to build any sort of defense, which is a problem. So while Ben and Harry argue, Barbara realizes that the dead are so slow that she could probably, or at least they all could just walk past them and just get out while they still can before this whole thing gets too much for them. This then prompts Ben to talk to his nephew about the gas pump outside the house. He talks about how there's a lock and they need a key for it, but they can't find the key anywhere, which is a big problem. So Barbara goes to the back of the house and she realizes the nephew's dead uncle's out there and he could have the keys on him. So this makes her open the door but leave it open for some reason and go search his body, which makes everybody else come outside and lock that, or not lock, but like they guard the door with three people checking his corpse. They find keys, but they end up going to the gas pump like the middle of the night because, I don't know, they have not a lot of time to move through this. So when they get over there, Ben goes with the nephew and the nephew's girlfriend to try and pump it and put gas in the truck. But the thing about it, the reason why they take the nephew's girlfriend is because she's been driving stick shift trucks and nobody else knows how to drive them except for her. So she's a vital person for this. So when she's driving like a little psychopath, this also ends up making Ben fly out the bed of the truck. And they don't really notice until like she's already at the gas pump and he can't really do nothing about it because he's already back there. But they try using the keys and unfortunately it's not the right key. So the nephew does the dumbest thing I've ever seen. He shoots the gas pump. This blows him up and his girlfriend, along with the only truck that's anywhere near them for like a couple dozen miles. So with this horrible thing that just happened, this makes Ben feel like he's failed the group and he desperately runs back to the house, fighting like he's in a war zone. This man straight up uses like WWE wrestling moves to take down zombies in his path. Like, it's such a wild thing to see him do when he's being surrounded. Like, he straight up, like, does a little barrel roll to kick out a zombie's legs. He straight up grabs one of their legs and flips it over his shoulder. Like, it's some crazy, like, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu kind of thing. But anyway, Ben makes it to the house, and Barbara is not attacked by only a zombie, but she's also being attacked by Harry. Harry takes the gun from her that she was using to kill all the zombies in the way of Ben, which is, a big problem because that's how he was keeping them off of her, or off of him, which is pretty bad because now Harry's armed with a gun and he tries not to let Ben in. But Barbara, since she's an absolute goat now and knows how to fight, she's able to evade being eaten and uses a plank of wood to keep zombies back from Harry's wife. So like they're kind of able to have this little gap from like where she was hiding at, and now she's able to run to the basement. But unfortunately, Harry's wife Helen doesn't realize that their zombie daughter is also in there. So she kind of eats her. That's not a big, or at least that's a big problem, because now there's a zombie daughter roaming around the house with this house that's also being filled with more zombies. So this ends up sparking a shootout between Harry and Ben. After they both shoot each other, they end up getting so badly wounded that they end up retreating into different portions of the house. We see Ben staggering into the basement, sitting on a chair. He looks over his shoulders and he sees the gas pump key hanging on the wall. This sets him into a laughing fit as he succumbs into a shock and dies. While we see Harry crawl his fat body into an attic upstairs, where he just sits there. We also notice Barbara leaving the house. Unfortunately, she's caught by some hillbillies, and they kind of they kind of have her in this little headlock after she sees the severed head of her dead brother in the bed. She ends up staying with these survivors though, and they're kind of doing their little part of dealing with the zombie population by killing them all. But since they notice she's human, they take her to a camp full of other survivors, along with a bunch of news crews and police. So Barbara and a bunch of other survivors are seen heading back to the farmhouse where she fled from. The people she's with, they find a zombified Ben and shoot him. Barbara goes off on her own after she separates from them, and she ends up finding Harry, still alive and looking okay even though he was shot. So as he thanks her for coming back, she shoots him in the head as an act of vengeance and, anger, I guess. But she ends up getting caught up with the group of men, and she has said he's just another body for the fire. And we get to see a nice little zoom out of her face looking into the fire pit, and we are hit with these little photo flashcards to signify the end of the movie. Okay, I can't state how much I didn't really enjoy this movie. But I mean, it's fine. What I kind of liked was how fast it ended, but the thing I didn't really like was I thought the plot went too fast. There were points where I felt like it was just rushed to get this plot over with. Yeah, if I'm being honest, it was I was rushing it right now. I don't think it was supposed to move this fast, because there was just some portions where it felt like they rushed it, and I didn't like it. But what I will say about what I liked from this movie was I think the house design was pretty good. And I like how the people portrayed the desperateness of trying to save themselves from this little portion or this little hole they dug themselves in. What I took from the end of the night was how unfortunate and devastating it was when the only way they could escape was just destroyed and blown up in front of them. Well, that's my review, summary, and opinion of The Night of the Living Dead, the version from 1990. And as always, I hope you enjoyed. Bye.